He's America's coolest conservative and the future king of talk radio. 107.9 FM WBT presents The TJ Ritchie Show.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, it's time to have a little fun. It's not even nighttime yet. It's nighttime by the clock. It's not nighttime by the sun. The phone number is 704-570-1079 if you want to be on the show, you want to participate. In other words, you want to be participatory in the show. Call or text. Text driven by Liberty Buick GMC. I was just listening to Sharon Thorsland with the sports report, and I want to know, has there ever been an athlete or a coach doing an interview or a press conference when they said, we had a terrible week of practice, we had a bad day of practice? Everyone, it's mandatory that in a press conference or an interview, they have to say, we had a good week of practice or we had a good day of practice. I think that's written in the rules of every sport. They have to say that. We had a good week of practice. Because, I mean, if it's a coach, is he going to say we had a bad week of practice? Because then people will be like, well, that's your fault. You're in charge. You're El Jefe of the team. And I still say that the only time those press conferences, those sports press conferences are interesting to me is when there's some drama going on that somebody's going to ask them about. Other than that, it's just the same. We got to get out there tomorrow and got to get some points on the board early. We want to try to score first, and we want to try to stay ahead. Well, no excrement. Of course you are. That's what you're supposed to be doing. But I don't want to be too picky. Listen. Now, the other thing is that I was planning on coming out firing tonight with a segment that's going to require phone calls to get your opinion on something. And I'm legitimately, I want to know what you think about something. I don't have an agenda. I'm not leading one way or the other on this particular topic. And then Lonnie Ray tells me, oh, by the way, the phones may not be working right. They got static on them. Okay. But I'm going to do it anyway because I got it playing. And if the phones are staticky, they're staticky. We'll just have to deal with it. See, that's part of the beauty of listening to a show like this that is not professional. It's not a professional show. This is just a wing it show. So there you go. All right. I know a lot of you have not heard of this because you don't hang around young people, but I do. And there is a new video game that everybody's talking about. Now, I don't play video games. I played video games when I was a kid, Centipede and Frogger and those types of games. But there's a video game everybody's talking about, and the name of the game is I Am Jesus Christ. I Am Jesus Christ. Now, this is a point of view video game, they call it, a POV, where you are the Jesus Christ. You play the part of the Jesus Christ. Now, let me make sure I don't get the details wrong here, because I don't want anybody mad at me if I say this wrong. Because video game players, yeah, I call you video game players. I don't call you gamers. Game is a noun. There's no verb form of the word game except playing games. That's the verb. You're not a gamer. All right. This little article says, and this was out talking about the game on December 9th, 2019. That's how long I guess they've been working on it. But everybody seems to be talking about this now, so maybe it just came out and they're just playing it. I don't know. So the video game entitled I Am Jesus Christ allows players to experience some of Jesus's most famous miracles from the first-person point of view as the Savior himself, from healing the blind and casting out demons to crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus. The game developed by Simula M promises to take users on a virtual journey through the gospel. The first-person healer currently has no release date, blah, blah, blah. But it's only available on Steam systems. Now, like I said, this is several years old, this article. But I've been hearing the people talk about it, and evidently you can play the game now. And at first, I was like, that's blasphemy. You know, playing like you're Jesus in a video game. What are you doing? You just looking for a trip to hell? Is that what you're doing? And then I start going off about, the people that make this, they're just a bunch of godless lunatics and, all of that. Because I'm very protective of the Jesus, being a Christian and all. And then I was saying things like, oh, yeah, they can have some game mocking the Jesus, but they would never have a video game called I Am the Muhammad. So then I got to thinking about it and listening to what some of the pro video game people of this video game were saying. And it's got other reviews. Some people were like I was in the beginning. It's like, it's blasphemy. We don't need to be doing that. But then the other side is what this is actually showing people and teaching them about what Jesus did. People who may not be Christians, maybe this is some sort of could act as some sort of a witness to them, some sort of a Bible lesson, and you put it into the video game, and then people are learning, and they're not, really just setting out to go, I need to learn about the Bible. I need to study the Bible. But then it's on them right there. Boom. You just learned about Jesus's miracles. You learned about the Jesus. So I'm torn on it. I'm very seldom, if you listen to the show, you know this, I'm seldom torn on things. I'm usually in all the way. I mean, there's no gray area. I'm usually, this is wrong and this is right. But with this one, I'm a little torn. On the one hand, I know we're not supposed to pretend like we are God. Because I remember there was a movie in the 70s, and my grandparents freaked out about it. It was called Oh God, and it starred George Burns and John Denver. It was a huge hit movie. And George Burns played the part of God. And people would tell my grandparents, well, he's not making God out to be a bad person and all. God is actually, the hero in this movie and all. And they were still like, no, that is not the way you're supposed to do things. You don't pretend to be God and, all this stuff. So is it one of those situations, or is it a valuable tool to witness to people, to get them into what the Jesus was all about? So this is where we're going to try to use the phone, and if it is malfunctioning, then I will throw a big diva fit and tear up the studio and everything like that. No, I won't. But this is what I had planned to do, and then at least you've got the information, so you can study into it yourself. But what do you think? Are you on the, I see the benefits of this video game where you pretend to be the Jesus, or are you, that's not right, and I consider that to be blasphemy, pretending to be the Jesus in a video game? And people ask me why I call him the Jesus. Is because there's a very funny show called Kim's Convenience on Netflix about a Korean family that owns a convenience store in Canada. It's funny. And they said the Jesus. They were big Christians, and they called him the Jesus, and I picked it up from that. Okay. So what do you think? Blasphemy or not blasphemy? 704-570-1079 is the number. 704-570-1079. Call or text. And if the phone isn't working with the audio, then we'll just rely on text messages. Okay? All right. So we'll see what we come up with next.
The TJ Ritchie Show is on. More next on Charlotte's FM News Talk 107.9 WPT. 11 listeners strong and holding. It's the TJ Ritchie Show on 107.9 FM. Charlotte's FM News Talk WPT.
Looks like we're having a little church up in here. Actually, we're not. Oh my God. He's talking about the Jesus. Yeah. So we got this video game we're talking about, and people are on both sides of the aisle on criticizing it or liking it. You know, so it is a video game where you play Jesus. You're the Jesus in the video game, and the video game is you going around and doing the Jesus miracles. The pro people say that it's teaching people about Christ and what he was all about, what he did, and then the con people are saying that it's blasphemy and it's not right to be, you know, putting Jesus in a video game. I'm genuinely torn on it, and I'm looking for some input so we can have a little group discussion here. All right, so we're going to try the phone and see if it's working properly. It was staticky on earlier in the day, so we'll see that. If you can pull up Todd here. And hey, Todd, are you there, bruh?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so what do you think? Are you in favor of the Jesus game or not?
I'm with you. I teeter back and forth. You know, I don't know the game, so obviously, you know, I'm not sure where it's leaning towards. But for you to say I am Jesus, and that bothers me. But the thing is, if it's teaching people about Christ, I'm for it. So
yeah.
I'm with you. I like I say, I don't know the game, so can't really see where they're trying to lean toward.
Well, the explanations that I've seen of it and all are that you are just basically learning what Jesus did in this video game. You go and you heal people, and you know, go recreate all the miracles that Jesus did, and all of this stuff. Now,
well, that's the basis of it. I almost like the game, you know.
But I don't even know how these newfangled video games work. I mean, I don't know if part of it you're going through and you're doing all the good works of Jesus, and then the next thing you know, you get some coins or something, and then all of a sudden Jesus becomes a murderer in the game. You never know, you know, with who's making these games and stuff. But I appreciate you calling, Todd. That's good. You're kind of like I am. I don't feel alone now, being torn. Thank you, buddy. Let's see. This person says, not sure if it's blasphemy, but I won't be playing, or just err on the side of caution. I get that. I love AC/DC, but whenever Highway to Hell would come on, I'm skipping it. I'm not listening to that one. Let's see. Walter said, I'm leaning more blasphemous than not. I don't think Jesus should be diminished to a hero character in a video game. Well, you know, I got thinking during the break when I said, I know, you know, you're not supposed to play, you know, act like you're Jesus or God. But I remember as a teenager when I was still Southern Baptist. So here's how it works with my faith. I was raised Southern Baptist. I met my wife, and she was raised Methodist. So when we got married, we compromised, and I became Methodist. That was the compromise. And then over the past several years, we have gotten away from the Methodist Church because it's too liberal. So that's where I am now. But when I was still Southern Baptist, we had every year in the church was called the Christmas cantata. The Easter cantata. And it was the thing the choir did, and it was a musical thing, and then they had actors in it and all. And I played the part of the Jesus one year. And I remember I got dragged down the aisle with the cross on my back, and the whole thing. The acting like the spikes were being driven into my hands, and all of that. But in no way was I doing it to mock the Jesus, or no, my church wasn't mocking the Jesus. So I don't know about that rule now that I think about it. If you can play the Jesus or not. But obviously, it goes without saying that I did a fantastic job. I moved the audience to tears. Like I even have to tell you that. You already know. Let's see. Renee said, we are in a full-blown world of deception right now. Satan can use anything, but Jesus can use more. All right? So that I take that to mean that this would be a good thing. So and then Stephen says, why worry about the game? The way liberals are running the country, we're going to be a Muslim nation anyway. Well, that's true. That's why we can't let the liberals or the communist Democrats get control of anything again. So I don't know. And here's the way it is. If you're not a Bible scholar most of the time, and you can be a Bible scholar without having to go to college to do it, without having to go to, divinity school or whatever. Which, by the way, I don't even like divinity. I'm glad we only have it at Christmas, and it's too much of a fragile process making divinity. But people who really know the Bible can, that you're so, all of us were so on edge and so cautious about blasphemy, because that is the unforgiven sin, blasphemy. So anything that even comes close to that, we as Christians a lot of times just shut it down, like I did when I first heard about this game. Oh, a video game about where you pretend to be Jesus? I don't want anything to do with that. We got to stop that. So we're so on guard about that, because that's the worst thing we can do in the Christian faith is blaspheme. And we're taught that, and, anything that comes close to it or even starts tiptoeing that way, we shut it down, as we should. But I don't want to shut down something that could be a tool to bring more people to the faith, because our country is in the shape it's in now because too many people have gotten away from faith. And I'll say it, too many people have gotten away from Christianity. This is a Christian nation. It was founded as a Judeo-Christian nation. And I know we're not supposed to say that because the godless Marxists have told us that it's offensive and, quit ramming your religion down our throats and all that. But facts are facts. This is a Christian nation. That's why Sharia law does not go hand in hand with American traditions and values. Sharia is not American in any way. And it doesn't even, it's a contradiction of America. So if this can bring some people who are, not even, close to being, because I mean, there are a lot more young people now that call themselves atheists than ever before. And part of the reason for that is because Christianity has been so demonized in America for so long. Think about it. You can say and just be vile and do whatever you want to do against Christians, and it's fine. It's actually noble to the left in this country. But if you said that about anybody else's faith, anybody else's religion, then you are just a dirty, rotten piece of crap. Offensive and hateful, hate monger. So that's the way I'm looking at it. Because, I mean, young men are playing video games. They're going to play video games. That's just the way it is. Not all young men are going to be addicted to them, but a lot of them are. But if we can squeeze a little bit of Jesus in and move some souls, I'm all for it. Andy says, where does the Bible say blasphemy is the unforgiven sin? Well, I was always taught it's like taking the Lord's name in vain, cursing the Lord, putting God's before yours, and anything like that was considered blasphemy. Now, like I said, I don't know the Bible up and down, but that's what I was always taught. I'm sure somebody can quote it that can text in here. So, all right. Just be on the lookout for this game, and then, you know, if you got your opinions about it, it comes up in conversation, you'll be ready. Boom. There you go. All right. Hang on. Got more coming up.
The realest your radio has ever been. TJ Ritchie is on Charlotte's FM News Talk 107.9 WPT. Welcome back to the TJ Ritchie Show on Charlotte's FM News Talk 107.9 FM WPT.
All right, hang on a second, ladies and gentlemen. I got something important going on here. I gotta get done. All right, I'm putting the Nebraska-Iowa game up on my TV. I told you that's the only college basketball or any kind of basketball game I'm caring about, because my best friend is a Nebraska graduate and grew up in Lincoln, and they got all these corn-fed Fred white boys on the team. What? Well, I mean, these boys are white. I'm not kidding. There's one on there that I can't even, he just looks like a white uniform running up and down the court. I mean, I don't think he's ever been out in the sun. But they're good. Cinderella team. Underdogs. Gotta like the underdogs. Something I have been really, really loving is these videos online of these Florida police officers pulling over truck drivers and checking to make sure that they can speak English. And it is astonishing how many of them, like, say, for example, in one day, that they're having to take their license from them because they can't speak English and they can't read the signs, and they're already out in 18-wheelers. 18-wheelers. They're up and down the highways already and can't read a single one of the signs. They can't even speak English enough to talk to the police officers. Now, where in the world would anybody think that's okay? If you care about innocent people in the country at all, and I know this is a state issue, or in your state, if you cared about the innocent people in your state, you would not be allowing someone who doesn't even speak English to get behind the wheel of any vehicle, much less an 18-wheeler. 18-wheeler. That's how you know these leftists, these commucrats are just terrible people. I mean, they're rotten. So California is one of the states that has, the driver's licenses and commercial licenses and all for people who can't even speak or read English. Now you say, well, it's in Florida. What about your boy DeSantis giving them? That's not, they got their license somewhere else. They're not getting their licenses in Florida. But they know, these politicians, these Democrat politicians know good and well that it is not safe for the public to allow someone a driver's license that can't even speak English. They know good and well it's dangerous. And I wish somebody would just ask them, like, how can you explain your side of it? Gavin Newsom. Explain your side of it. You see, once the commucrats really started promoting driver's licenses for quote-unquote migrants, that's what they were doing. They were trying their very best to get a blurred line between who is an American citizen and who isn't. So, with the Voter ID Act, the Save America Act, you hear the Democrats keep coming out and saying, you can't even use your driver's license to register to vote. The driver's license can't even be, you have to have a birth certificate or a passport, and nobody can afford a passport and all that. Well, I don't know that that's actually true, because if a Democrat's saying something, I automatically know that it's a lie. At least part of it is a lie. But that's, obviously, if you have a driver's license in these blue states, you don't even have to be a legal resident. You don't have to speak English. They're just handing them out. Here, take them. Here's your driver's license. Here's your, because they know that gives them, even when they have no credibility as a legal American, it blurs the line. So if they can just show up, all these people who are not supposed to have driver's licenses, they can just show up and register to vote with that, and then show it at the voting place, then nothing changes. James O'Keefe, he is an independent investigative journalist, and he has uncovered a lot of stuff in his time. Hidden undercover cameras and investigations and stuff like that. And recently he has been in California and going up to homeless people as they are signing up and signing the registering to vote, and they show him the list of names that they've been given by these scamsters, these fraudsters, and they're registering to vote under these names and giving the address that they're supposed to put on the paperwork, and they give the homeless people $2 when they do that. So, let's say one of the examples was, it was a guy, an urban outdoorsman. O'Keefe walks up to him, asks him what he's doing. He said, I'm registering to vote. And he said, this is the name. And the name was like Linda Johnson or something. And this is the address they gave me. And if I have to sign up to get my $2. So obviously his name's not Linda Johnson. So then they go to the address that was given to him. And the guy opened the door and he said, I don't know who Linda Johnson is. I've lived in the house for 9 years, but I still get her mail sometimes. That's how I know that she lived here. So it's all just one big scam, and it's all to benefit Democrats in elections. because they cheat. I mean, it really has gotten to the point where you cannot believe them about anything. If I saw a Democrat politician, a commucrat, walking down the street with his coat on fire, and he starts screaming, "Help me, my coat's on fire," I would stop for a second and go, well, wait a minute, who is that? It's a Democrat politician? I bet his coat's not really on fire. Even though I can see it, I can smell it. I would think he was up to something. Like he's got on some sort of a Hollywood stuntman kind of coat, and he's trying to get some leverage on some bill or something, or some kind of a power move. He's not really on fire. That's how bad it's gotten. That's how dishonest they are. And that's what they're known for now. They're just known for being dishonest and corrupt. And not to say that every Republican is, always honest and saintly by any means. But when you got a choice of the one or the other, I can't understand how anybody would go with that side. But that's what's going on. That's why the dispute over driver's licenses and the dispute over all this. So they want as many non-American people to have driver's licenses as possible to blur the lines. And they are patient, and they've been working on this for years and years and years. They're not like we are. Republicans get elected to power. We're like, do this, and this immediately, or you're not what we voted for, and you're gutless and da 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 da. Democrats aren't like that. They'll work on something and they'll chip away for years and years and years until finally one day, boom, there it is. And it's gone so far we can't do anything about it in a timely manner. And then we start yelling at our guys because they can't undo it immediately after the Democrats have worked on it for decades, whatever evil it is that they've gotten done. Okay. Oh, look at this. I got to take another break. These breaks are getting in my way, ladies and gentlemen. We got to take them. Hang on. More coming up.
It's the TJ Ritchie Show on 107.9 WPT, Charlotte's FM News Talk. Delivering pinpoint political and cultural analysis with wit and Southern charm. It's the TJ Ritchie Show on 107.9 FM WPT, Charlotte's FM News Talk.
Welcome back to Unapologetic In-Your-Face Conservatism. You know, I just love it when people get me, you know? My wife tells me all the time, people don't know how to take you. And I get told a lot, people don't get you. And, you know, that's not a compliment when you say that to somebody. Somebody who has a unique brain and a unique perspective on life like I do. It's not a compliment just to dismiss them by saying, people don't get you. But when somebody does get me, I know that person is highly intelligent. There's a man named Michael Brown who texted up in here, and he gets me. A minute ago when I was talking about the people not even being able to speak English, but getting a commercial driver's license and driving 18-wheelers, being dangerous and all of that. When I would say 18-wheeler, I would say 18-wheeler, because I have what is called, I made up the term, but it's called musical ADD, where if I say something that sparks a lyric from a song, I have to sing the song. Sing a song, sing out loud. That's the Carpenters, by the way. That's how it works. So there's a song by Alabama, the country group Alabama, called Roll On. Roll on highway, roll on along, roll on daddy till you get back home. So at the end of the song, the final lyrics are 18-wheeler. And then there's an echo to finish out the song, and it ends. Michael Brown just typed in the words, roll on, roll on. He got it. Because it goes, 18-wheeler, roll on, roll on, roll on. Well done, Michael Brown. Well done. He's a smart man. Very smart man. And I mentioned earlier, I'm keeping up with this Nebraska-Iowa game in the Sweet 16. Y'all, the Sweet 16's on. And I need to tell you something, an observation that I've made. Even though I don't watch basketball very much, I know about basketball. And I don't like to racially profile people. I do it, but I don't like doing it. Sometimes I just have to. But there is an easy way to tell that a white boy is going to be good at basketball. Is if you see him on the court and that white boy has bangs that go straight across his forehead, where he takes what I'm guessing is a comb when he gets out of the shower, and he just combs his hair straight down all the way around, and he forms bangs straight across his forehead. That guy can ball. And then, Nebraska's got, they got a bunch of corn-fed Fred white boys on their team, and there's this one, he's got that, maybe a couple of them, because that means that they don't have time to be fooling with in-style haircuts and hair products and all of that. They just get out of the shower, comb that hair down, and get to practice. They don't care what it looks like. Now, feel free to use that observation whenever you want. Take credit for it if you want to. It is very profound. Have you ever heard any sports analysts make that observation, Lonnie Ray? You watch a lot of sports stuff.
Not bangs, though.
I'm telling you, the bangs theory works.
Golly.
That's also the kind of guy that when he's wearing pants, he has that comb in his pocket, just in case he needs to comb those bangs down. I'm not kidding. They need to put me on TV commentating these games. I'll be all up in it. Okay. I found a quote today. I don't know when this came out, but it was posted a day ago, it says. But it says it is The View ABC. It's on their social media. So maybe it is recent. But it's a quote from Chelsea Handler. Chelsea Handler considers herself a comedian. But she's one of those trashy celebrities. I mean, it likes to, write books and talk about nonstop about her sexual escapades. And I believe she brags about how many abortions she's had. I think she does that. But I know that she, when she got her big break on TV, it was on E! Entertainment Network. And she was laying up with the boss of the network. And, talk about that. But she's just an old shrew. She's like, even if you disagree with her politically and all of that stuff, she's just not a cool person. She's always got a chip on her shoulder about something. She's lucky to be where she is, because her level of success and popularity and fame and all does not equal her talent. Her talent is way lower than what her success is in show business. But there's a quote here that says, I just want women to stop apologizing for taking up space and just take up double space. It's our turn. What year does this wench think that it is? When is the last time a woman in America apologized for taking up space? Where is she hanging out? What kind of dope is she smoking? Women in America are demanding double, triple space. They're taking up more than the space that they should be allowed. They're taking up all the space. And women are not apologetic about anything, in case you haven't noticed. So that tells me that she, while plays herself as a radical feminist, doesn't have any women friends. Think about it. When is the last time you've run across some meek woman who is afraid or apologetic about everything that she does? Never. Not in our lifetimes, if we're younger than, say, 75. Just got to have a grievance. Just got to have some sort of playing a victim of some kind. She needs to be apologizing for the way she is, how trashy she is. Not saying that women need to stop apologizing for taking up space. What does that even mean? So stupid. These are the kind of people that we should really just mock. She's ridiculous. All right. I have a clip to play for you of a scene in a courtroom where a trans man, which is a woman pretending to be a man, completely turned over the concept of transgenderism and didn't even realize it. We'll play that for you coming up next.
He's America's coolest conservative and the future king of talk radio. 107.9 FM WBT presents The TJ Ritchie Show.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, yeah. The party horns, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Hour 2 of Unapologetic In-Your-Face Conservatism. Courageous conservatism. 704-570-1079 is the number if you want to call or text. Driven by Liberty Buick GMC. All right, so let's get right into this because it's going to take a minute, but it's going to be worth it. Because I have uncovered, I feel like breaking Brett Jensen. I uncovered something. This comes from a video of a courtroom. The judge is a woman. The prosecutor is a man. The defense attorney is a trans man, quote unquote. Now, a trans man is a woman pretending to be a man. Okay? Got the beard and everything in this one. Wearing a man's suit, pretending to be a man, but built still like a woman. And you know how they'll say a trans woman is a woman. A trans woman is a man pretending to be a woman. So they say that is a woman. And a trans man is a man. We say science says that it is not the case. But this attorney has inadvertently proven our case. Okay. Now, some of this is hard to listen to, and I'm going to be very professional with it, and I'm going to fast forward through some of it. Okay? But listen to this exchange as the judge is reprimanding the attorney that is a woman pretending to be a man. Listen.
I pointed you to the exact paragraph. It's her education.
Stop.
Stop because you don't want to hear what the argument is.
That's the judge.
You interrupt me one more time, you are being held in direct contempt of court, and
Yes,
you can
ma'am.
wipe that smirk off.
I don't have a
your face.
smirk on my face.
Oh, yes, you
I
do.
do not.
I am not going to tolerate this from you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Fill out the request, get the form from our court clerk's office on the second floor, make sure it comports with what you've brought already, get it filed, mailed in, whatever you need to do. Let us assess her request. If it's...
My client's not seen her child. There is no order in this court, and there's been no jurisdiction found that this court has jurisdiction over this child who has never lived in your county.
You just interrupted
Never
me.
lived.
You
I did
just
not.
interrupted.
There was a pause. There was a break. I wasn't done with my argument.
And I was not done with my statement. You interrupted again.
She threw her phone
Do
down.
not throw your...
I did not throw. It fell off the bench. Please stop stating things that are not true, ma'am.
Sir, you've got a room full of witnesses.
I do. I put it down. I did. I put it down and it fell down. I did not fall.
Then settle down.
I'm not upset, and I'm not arguing. You're not letting me make an argument. I'm not red in the face, ma'am. I'm not.
Stop. Our court reporter cannot get what we're both saying.
Okay, wait
I
for it.
am trying to make my argument. You interrupted my argument halfway through
This
on
is
an
a panic button
objection.
that will get every available deputy in
Yes,
front of
ma'am,
my
I'm
client.
aware. It's happened to
You're
me before.
interrupting. It has.
Yes.
Because you're out of line
Yeah,
with court.
I guess so.
Okay. If I push that
Or maybe
button-
because I'm a transgender attorney practicing all over the state.
I don't know what you are.
You do, ma'am. It's not that you do.
All right, playing the victim there.
I don't know whether
You do,
you're
ma'am. You do.
transgender,
You
other
do.
than you have just now advised me,
ma'am,
and
you
that
do.
doesn't have
You
anything
do.
All right,
to-
now, this is just part of it. This is proof that you cannot change from being a woman to a man. Just by listening to the way that she's arguing with this judge. That is a woman through and through. Stop interrupting me, but you're not letting me make my argument. You're not letting me make my point. I didn't interrupt you. I didn't throw my phone. I didn't. You're going to listen to me. Listen, you interrupted me. Blah, 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 blah. That is a woman arguing with another woman. That could be a woman arguing with a man, but that is a woman arguing technique right there. That's the way women argue. So right there, she's showing that she's not a man. All right. So we're going to skip into this a little bit and get to the point where, because what happens is she ends up being held in contempt, and the court officers, the bailiffs and all, they come in and they're trying to arrest her, and she starts resisting. Okay, so I'm cutting out all of the she starts, I can't breathe. You know, that's what they all go to now when they don't want to be arrested. They want to blame the cops for doing something they shouldn't be doing. I can't breathe. Okay, so here comes the part that is so telling. Listen.
All
right, we're gonna pick you up. Roll on your side.
No, I don't. Get a female officer now. Get a female officer now. Get a female officer now.
There aren't any. Come on.
I can't get up. I can't see. He just threw my glasses.
Okay. Why would a man be yelling, get a female officer now? Get a female officer now. Why would a man yell that? And really, they're not really roughing her up the way she's acting like they are. But forget all of the rest of the stuff. You are a man, according to you. You are a man, according to the leftists. There is no other reason that you would be yelling, get me a female officer. Get me a female officer now. If you didn't know that you are a woman. Have you ever heard a man say, get me a female officer? Nope. Because there is no procedure for that. Female suspects can request a female officer. If there's a female officer on the scene, or, if you got to pat a woman down, search her, get a female officer to do it. But if you're a man, why would you be worried about that? Just found that very interesting. Got to take a break now. Hang on, more coming up next.
TJ Ritchie on Charlotte's FM News Talk 107.9 FM WPT. Text everybody in your contacts list and tell them that Ritchie's on. Welcome back to the TJ Ritchie Show on Charlotte's FM News Talk 107.9 FM WPT.
The most famous and legendary active radio personality in Charlotte. Serving you all night. Well, just like for another 40 minutes. But I'll call that all night. All night, baby. Rockin' at the speed of light. Wait, I need to do it this way. Rock, 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 rockin'. Put a little stutter on it. 704-570-1079 is the phone number. We got the phones. If we want to use voices, the phone's not working great. It's staticky and stuff, so you may want to just try texting. I thought this was a big time operation when I signed up about a year ago. Come to find out, it's two soup cans with a string tied between them. No, I'm kidding, of course. Just joshing. Things happen. I get it. Things happen. So, my friend Breaking Brett Jensen, reporting on this story. This is from his X page, and it's been in our news reports. Social media posts on what looks to be from an assistant principal at Alexander Graham Middle School in Charlotte have many people concerned that she is around impressionable children each day. One public post on January 25th on Facebook, a Facebook page attributed to Micah Johnson Griffith, says, quote, "People are being murdered in the street because the president rapes children." Just 4 posts earlier, on December 12th, a post asks people to donate money to help send 8th grade students to Washington, D.C. for a school field trip. Griffith's school email address is listed at the bottom of the post. So, I mean, yeah, if this is true, not only does she have to worry about maybe, I don't know, the liberal school system. I don't know if she would have to worry about being reprimanded or whatnot. But one thing, if this story gets picked up, and it is reported outside of Charlotte, the big dangerous city, if it's true, this woman posted that, there could be a lawsuit coming her way, filed by one Mr. Donald John Quavius Trump. It's one of my favorite content creators on social media calls him that. So I'm not trying to steal it. I'll give her credit. I mean, that's just blatant. The president rapes children right there. Boom. Also, Brett reported that in a separate post, there's a call to defund ICE, prosecute ICE, impeach Trump. Fascism didn't just arrive in boots. It came in bouncy houses and Facebook mom groups. What does that mean? That's dumb. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Now I know what you're saying. You're saying nothing. Nothing's going to happen. I don't know. We make this story go viral. President Trump doesn't play around with those kinds of accusations. And I don't blame him. But again, we don't know for sure. Hasn't been proven that she wrote these messages. But if so, then yeah, she should never be around children. Even her own. Because, I mean, that's a wild, with all those posts and everything, that's a wild, crazy leftist, in my opinion. And that's detrimental to children. No, he didn't say that. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. So I've had this since International Women's Day, and I just haven't been able to find the right time to work it into the show, but I guess now is the right time. Because, you know, I'm not a big fan of what they call feminism, because it's radical feminism. It's not just the original feminism. So I found this article, and it's really interesting. It says, International Women's Day was originally created to advance communism by weakening the family. Hello. That's a sermon I preach every night. It began as a socialist political movement. Two women who were key figures, both influential Marxist activists, Clara Zetkin and Alexandra Kollontai. Clara Zetkin, a German Marxist activist who first introduced the idea of an annual Women's Day. She pitched the idea at the 1910 International Socialist Women's Congress, arguing that it should be used to advance socialist principles. Alexandra Kollontai, a Bolshevik revolutionary who said the goal of the day was, quote, victory of communism and the complete equality of women. She said in communist society, there would be, quote unquote, our children, not yours and mine. Now, that's a big thing about communism. Your children don't belong to you. They belong to the community, right? Think Hillary Clinton's book, It Takes a Village. It doesn't take a village. It takes parents. My kids are not your kids. But again, why you break down the family unit, why you promote unwed motherhood and all of that to get people addicted to government. So then the government can say, yeah, these are our children. Okay. So there would be, quote, our children, not yours and mine. And the society would take, quote, all the duties involved in the education of the child. Remember just the other night I was talking about the Pillars of Communism, written by Marx and Engels. One of the top things on the list was a government-controlled school system. All right, says the Soviet Union played a key part in institutionalizing International Women's Day. After the Bolshevik Revolution and 12 years after Clara Zetkin introduced the idea, Vladimir Lenin made March 8th an official Soviet holiday in 1922. This wasn't a celebration of women. It was a move made to align women's rights with Soviet state policies, to advance Marxist ideology and mobilize women for the socialist revolution. And it says, dismantling of the family. Marxist thinkers saw the family as bourgeoisie oppression, which had to be dismantled for socialism to succeed. In the Communist Manifesto, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels point blank called for the abolition of the family. Communist leaders argued the traditional family was an institution of oppression. Women should be pushed into state-controlled labor. Children should be raised collectively by society. Under the Soviet Union, this meant Abortion legalized during Lenin's regime, first country in the world. Divorce made extremely easy. Homeschooling and private education outlawed. Children were sent to state-run schools for indoctrination. The goal? Loyalty to the state over loyalty to the family. All while propaganda celebrated the quote-unquote liberation of women from domestic roles, ensuring their full participation in the workforce under state control. In 2026, Marxist ideology has shifted from economic class struggle to cultural battles over gender, race, and identity. Today, modern feminist movements, and left-wing activists echo Marxist ideas that downplay the nuclear family in favor of state-centered solutions. Groups like Planned Parenthood have pushed policies that take children away from parents and toward institutions. Currently, at the United Nations, there are ongoing negotiations to remove the words mother and motherhood from official documents. International Women's Day may look different today, but its ideological roots matter. The holiday was originally designed by Marxist activists who believed the nuclear family should disappear, the state should replace parents, and society should be divided into oppressors versus oppressed. Isn't that interesting? So, before the women's liberation movement was hijacked by radical Marxist, it was already established by communists and Leninists. So you see, I'm not just throwing around the word communists to be hyperbolic every night here. You know, you should read the Communist Manifesto. It's very short. It wouldn't take you long to read it at all. And then, you read it and then see how much the Democrat Party's operations follow that guide. That and Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals. I mean, that's those two things are their blueprints for everything that they do. Everything they do to gain power over the people. That's where they come from. Those two books. Okay, we got to go to recess real quick from class. Take a break. We will resume class when the bell rings. Next, hang on.
It's TJ, the Green-Eyed Patriot, on Charlotte's FM News Talk 107.9 WBT. Night has fallen, and the Green-Eyed Patriot is on the air. It's the TJ Ritchie Show on Charlotte's FM News Talk 107.9 FM WBT.
The Green-Eyed Patriot is on the air, ladies and gentlemen. Rocking at the speed of light. Dropping the truth bombs everywhere. Boom, boom, boom. Just getting into it. Let's go now. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. Remember, looking for your help. Tell some people to be listening. I want to prove the management of WBT wrong when they say that nighttime talk shows aren't really expected to get high ratings. You know, I've never been in a situation where I didn't have high ratings. So I can't accept that. So please, and obviously from what I discussed last night, they're not interested in promoting me, or they would have put me in that TV commercial. So it's just you and me. We got to do it. Our little 11-member family here. Well, 12 counting me. 11 listeners and I have to do it. So please, if you wouldn't mind telling people about the show and to check it out, I would really, really appreciate it. Okay, so as long as we're talking about women, the left, the lunatic left, treats women, because they've spent so much time cultivating this idea that conservatives want to keep women down, want to keep women in their place, don't want women to be equal to a man. You know, conservatives want women to be oppressed. It's never been the case. And so they've built it to where if women do say, you know what, I like the fact that I am home with my children when they're little to be there for them and help educate them before they start school and to be involved in their lives and all of that, rather than taking them to daycare from the time they're 6 weeks old and chasing a career. They got into the heads of these feminists that in order to be a true woman, you have to be like a man. And that's been so detrimental to women, the women in our society. So there's this video that I found of a very effeminate man. And he is, one of those, they treat these women as if, like they do black voters, where if a black person goes away from the Democrats, then he or she just doesn't know what's good for them. They don't understand. How can you be against your people? How could you do this? And I know, as mighty, whitey, liberal, I know more than you know about what you need. How dare you not stay on this side of the aisle where we tell you to stay? Black people. That's the white liberal mindset. Well, not just white liberals, but also black liberals. But the black liberals, the professional Democrats, do it because the white liberals do it, and they say you got to tell your people not to leave us. So they do the same with women. So this effeminate guy, this sassy femboy, is so all-knowing, and he's telling us why, because they've done research at High Point University, why conservative women vote against themselves. Now, first of all, how arrogant is that? But here's what he said.
Why conservative women vote against their own interests. There's a scientific reason.
Okay, I just have to do this in the beginning. Why conservative women vote against their own interests. Okay, there we go. I did it.
For that. And you're not going to like the answer. Professors at High Point University studied 4,271 Americans to find out exactly why women vote for Trump. And what they found was a little disturbing. There are 47 million white women in America without a college degree. Over 60% of those women voted for Trump. And here's why. First reason is they believed people of color didn't deserve what they have. They believed any inequality people of color faced is their own fault and that they're just lazy. That belief made them 4 times more likely to vote for Trump. The second main reason they voted for Trump, they felt threatened by other women succeeding. Their own lives weren't going anywhere. So when another woman got ahead, it didn't inspire them. It made them feel worse about themselves. And the easiest way to feel better was to make sure that other women failed. That belief made them 54% more likely to vote for Trump. Without a college degree, your options are limited. Your status depends on your husband, your community, and the world staying exactly the way it is. So when other women start earning more, getting promoted, gaining power, it doesn't feel inspiring to them. It feels like losing. And the researchers proved it. They aren't voting for better health care. They aren't voting for lower prices. They're voting specifically to stop other women from succeeding. These women don't want equality. They want you to fail. And they're going to keep voting this way until you do fail.
Okay, well, that's a bunch of BS. Because obviously, you think about it. You get the two types of women side by side. You get a group of conservative women over here that vote for Trump, and then you get a group of crazy, lunatic, liberal, feminist women on this side. Obviously, the conservative women prove it time after time that they are the bitter ones. They're the bitter, angry ones. While the lunatic leftist women are the level-headed, happy, and well-adjusted, satisfied with their lives and the way they've turned out. They're the ones. And the reason why is because they've been to college. You know, they always say that conservatives they're just uneducated. We're just uneducated. That's why. Because they believe everything starts and ends with Marxist indoctrination centers and Marxist professors filling their heads full of stuff. So you take a woman who enjoys her husband, loves her kids, loves being a mom, just wants people to leave her alone, get the government away from her. She can make it with her family, and she actually enjoys that, and she feels like she is, complete because she is a mom and a wife and all that. Then she's just uneducated. She's just dumb. She just doesn't know it. She's bitter, actually. She doesn't want anything else, but she doesn't want anybody else to have anything else. So if you have an opinion against any of this, crazy, insane ideology of the left, then it's just because you're jealous. You're jealous and uneducated, and you're not inspired. Now you think about all these protesters out there protesting ICE, all these crazy white women, do they seem like they're inspired or that they're satisfied with their lives? No, they don't. They seem like complete and total lunatics. Their lives are a mess. Just look at their hair, for God's sakes. You talk about being bitter against other women. These crazy lunatic leftists are bitter toward conservative women, mainly because conservative women are much prettier and do have their lives together. They're the ones who are bitter and jealous because they're ugly. You can say what you want to. I know everything there is to know about women, and you can talk about a liberated woman, a feminist, and all that. They don't care about that kind of stuff. You are wrong. All women care about looking good. And if they don't put any effort into how they look and they try to look as ugly as possible, they're still going to be bitter to another woman that's pretty. That's just the way they are. So when a woman is a conservative woman who's pretty, and an ugly ass liberal woman looks at herself out there on the picket line, out there protesting, it's hate. Look at that bee. Thinking she's so great, thinking she's so pretty, and the men looking at her and talking to her, and she's being nice to them and all. She's ridiculous. She's jealous of us. Get out of here. Get out of here, femboy, with that crap. Go back to your little Marxist den and sit around with people who are like-minded and then talk about how dumb we are while you sit there and have nothing accomplished in your life. You sit there and ponder on why you're not a real man. That's what you need to be doing. Okay. Last segment coming up next. There you go.
TJ, the realist Ritchie, on 107.9 WBT, Charlotte's FM News Talk. If you're an emotionally fragile liberal and would like to complain to WBT management about TJ, don't waste your time. They don't like him much either. Back to the TJ Ritchie Show on 107.9 FM, WBT, Charlotte's FM News Talk.
Welcome back. Soy el jefe de la radio. the most famous and legendary active radio personality in Charlotte. So glad that you are here and you get to experience me. Good for you. Good for you. So people ask me all the time, they'll first say, the music that you play on your show is different, because it really is. Give you a little inside scoop here on behind the scenes stuff. Talk radio, the news talk format, usually focuses on rock music, like hard rock. But I work in other types of music, because I like all kinds of music. And I just look at it like if it's fun and it's jamming, then I'll throw it on. Like just now, that was a song by the Black Eyed Peas. Oh, hot damn, this is my jam. No, it's not. That was Flo Rida. Excuse me, Flo Rida. Your hands in the air. So they'll say, what is your favorite type of music? And I don't really have a favorite. It just depends on the mood that I'm in. I'm one of those, always keep my music on shuffle. Whether it's, and I use iTunes, I don't use Spotify. And so I've got, it's called Ritchie's Radio, where they'll, play music on there that comes up in my Al Gore rhythm. And it's all over the place. It could go from the Carpenters to Metallica to Ice Cube, just any and everything. And I like them all the same. But today, this is kind of funny. Today, I was listening to music in my earbuds, and I was listening to my library on iTunes on shuffle. And I was just acting a fool in the kitchen by myself, because I haven't heard this in a long time, and because this is the song that came on. You remember this song, Lonnie Ray?
Man, do I.
I love this song. I was like, damn. Come, my lady, come, my lady. You're my butterfly, sugar, baby. Come, my lady, come, my lady. You're my butterfly, sugar, baby. And I got earbuds in, and I'm rapping along with it. And I wouldn't be surprised if my neighbors couldn't hear. So, yeah, I mean, I love even... one of my favorite types of music is pop music. I know you think, well, what is bubblegum pop, teeny pop music? But that's if pop music is done right. It's fun. Yo, my pretty baby, I like that shake. You make me go crazy. He done passed, though, hasn't he, Shifty Shell Shock? He's no longer with us on this earth. That's the guy's name, Shifty Shell Shock. The group's called Crazy Town. Didn't he pass of like heroin abuse and stuff?
Not sure. I'm going to have Travis check it.
Oh. Does Travers need to know how to spell Shifty Shell Shock?
No, I think he got it.
He got it. Okay. Yeah, I know I'm pretty sure he had a lot of drug problems and stuff.
Yeah, it was an overdose.
Yeah. So it was an overdose. And once again, I was right. I don't know why I ever questioned myself. I'm always right. But, at first I thought, well, I don't know if they're going to, like the WBT bosses are going to let me play, because some of the music is West Coast gangster stuff that I play. I was like, I don't know if they're going to go for that. But they haven't said anything yet. Now, here's the thing. They never listen to the show. So that's probably why they don't say anything, because they don't know. And even the guy that used to tell on me, try to find things to tell on me about to get me in trouble, I don't guess he ever said anything like, well, he's playing rap music and pop music and funk and stuff like that. I guess he didn't do that. Do you know if he did that, Lonnie?
No, he didn't. I think he was scared of the first time you could, so you could.
But I get compliments all the time. People will say, that they like the musical choices that I play. Because it's also being on at night. You got to have a feel for, I'm not going to say vibe, but you have to have a feel for the attitude and the mood of what's going on. So that's kind of what that is. But am I the only one, Lonnie, that picks all the music for his show? Do the other ones leave it up to producers and all to do?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm the only control freak when it comes to that. Huh? That's like the other night when Isaac was filling in and somebody complimented Isaac on his musical choices. I almost said, hey, he's not picking his music. But I didn't. Man, because that's my boy. That's my boy.
That's my boy too, man. They always trying to big up Isaac on his music choice, which he does a good job when he's with Winterable. But we all know, TJ, you the man.
Yeah. I'm the music man. That's what I'm doing. Actually, I used to send Isaac songs from time to time and tell him, hey, put this on Winterable show.
Yep.
I don't know if Winterable knows that.
Yep, we still playing bumps that you suggested, man.
Does Winterable know, though?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, next thing I need to do is help out Brett Jensen.
Oh, yeah, man. I've already gotten complaints about his bumper music, so I had to take some of that stuff out.
I was just kidding. But he does. If he's not picking, somebody else had picked it for him, so I was just joking. Brett's my friend, the Reverend Brett Jensen. A lot of people don't know he's a pastor. That's the rumor I'm going to start. I'm just kidding. I just got a warning on my computer. It says your disk is almost full. Save space by optimizing storage. That mean I got to buy something? If it says save space by optimizing storage. Man.
Get yourself a terabyte, man.
I'm trying to relax. The show's over. I'm trying to relax. Now I got to be worrying about a computer. Man. There's always something going on. I can't win, Lonnie. I can't win. All right, Nick Craig is coming up next. His show is great. You need to check that out. God loves you and ain't nothing you can do about it. I'll talk to you tomorrow.